So there are many rule changes. You probably have seen some of these. I know I did my coaching certification already, and we did not go over rule changes. So I know for a fact I did not go over rule changes in the coaching seminar. We just want to go around the room real quick and just introduce ourselves, and then which club you're from and which level. So I'm actually a coach. I coach Frederick Victory 8U. Let's go over here. What's club? Okay. Victory.
Sure, yes. Neil Gerald, I'm going to be doing U10 Victory with Knuckles and U18 Victory.
Sweet.
Keith Burbaugh, U10 Victory.
Sure. Jeremy.
Hi, I'm Jeremy. Bulldogs. John Wheatman, I'll be correct for Frederick. Scott McIntosh, Victory U14. Greg Allison, U10 U12 Victory. Got Tim Stammers, and I'll be doing U18 Victory.
Great. And for the benefit of the people in the room, we have Dan Velez, 16U Freeze, Bob Holton. Bob, who are you with?
14U Freeze.
14U Freeze. Brian Johnson. Who's Brian with?
10U Freeze.
10U Freeze. Brian from MSHL Girls. I am also the women's/girls coordinator for SHOA. So I schedule the major girls and women's tournament for SHOA. We have Dave Ditch, MSHL Girls, Greg Dale, Jason. Oh, Greg, who are you coaching this year?
Yeah, I'm 8U Freeze and system for 14U Freeze.
18U and 14U Freeze.
Eight, not 18.
8.
Yep.
8U.
Yeah,
He's
Mike.
only 8U, sorry. Okay, and Jason Morrill, also 8U Victory. And Rodney Rivera. Rodney, who are you with?
12U Freeze.
Okay, great. Okay. So I'm going to start out with the presentation, and if you want to, just please unmute yourself if you want to raise questions. This presentation was given to the officials over the rule changes, and just again, pause me or just interrupt and we'll pause and we can discuss the rule changes. This is about an 8-minute video, and this is going to give us the major rule changes that affect our game. Let me share this with the Zoom. See, share screen. Okay, share sound. Okay, you guys can't hear this.
Welcome
right?
to USA Hockey's major rule changes of the 2021-2025 rulebook. Welcome to USA Hockey's major rule changes of the
The people on Zoom here.
Yeah, that sounded great online.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Someone turn down the rain. Okay. It's very difficult to run a Zoom and a meeting. Okay. There's people in the meeting room. This is very stressful. Oh my goodness.
Welcome to USA Hockey's major rule changes of the 2021-2025 rulebook. The points of emphasis that we will touch in this video include fair play and respect, abuse of officials, intimidation tactics, competitive contact, body checking, focus on possession of the puck, players, respect and development of skills, coaches, safe and sportsmanlike environment, officials, enforce all rules with integrity, and lastly, spectators, respect and support for all participants. Let's start with the Declaration of Player Safety, Fair Play, and Respect. Many principles from the Declaration of Player Safety have been incorporated into the rules. Body contact is now known as competitive contact. Glossary definitions have been added for angling, collision, late body check, physical engagement, and vulnerable or defenseless. Let's go over the language added to Rule 601, B.5. Banging the boards with a stick or other object, including skates or arms, after a body check regardless as to whether the check is being penalized. This is deemed to be unsportsmanlike conduct and should be penalized when done as a means of escalating dangerous and or unnecessary physical play where there is no intent to legally gain possession of the puck. Specific language from the Declaration of Player Safety has been added to the following rules: boarding, body checking, charging, checking from behind, head contact, and roughing. Specific situations added to Rule 640, unnecessary roughness, roughing. A player who has released a shot or pass is no longer considered to be in control of the puck. They are considered to be vulnerable or defenseless and are no longer eligible to be body checked. A minor penalty shall be assessed to any player who delivers a body check with no effort to gain possession of the puck, and the blade of the player's stick is above the knees. A minor penalty shall be assessed to any player who delivers a body check to an opponent who is physically engaged for possession of the puck with one or more other players. In all cases, the onus is on the player delivering the check to avoid placing a vulnerable or defenseless opponent in danger of potential injury.
Okay, so let me, it paused it. Are there any questions yet from anyone on the checking or the roughing?
No. Z, the only thing I don't know if you can't hear the audio in the video or in the the party room very well, but like when the video is playing, we're picking up the background noise of you talking to the coaches there. So I don't know, maybe it's
Yes.
possible to mute.
I am. It's actually, this is more difficult than I thought to run both a Zoom and a meeting live. Because I'm
Yeah, I
running.
think if you pause or mute, if you mute while the video is playing, the people virtually will be fine because then the sound's coming through beautifully on our end for the video.
Yeah, so the one thing that I talked about for the roughing was the main takeaway, I think, is the intent to play the puck, right? So the checking categories, if the player does not have the puck anymore, he is no longer fair game. Okay, if he still has possession of the puck, possession and control of the puck, fair game for a clean body check. That's what I said. What else did I talk about? Yeah. Oh, and then the banging on the boards, the same emphasis from the previous rule book. You can bang the boards all you want with your stick, to celebrate a good goal, a great save. But banging the boards, celebrating a huge hit, not acceptable, will be penalized. All right, so. Just interrupt if you have anything else.
Welcome to U.S. means of escalating dangerous and or unnecessary physical play
Thank you.
where there is no intent considered to be vulnerable or defenseless and are no longer eligible to be body checked. A minor penalty shall be assessed to any player who delivers a body check with no effort to gain possession of the puck, and the blade of the player's stick is above the knees. A minor penalty shall be assessed to any player who delivers a body check to an opponent who is physically engaged for possession of the puck with one or more other players. In
So again,
all
on this
cases,
video, I don't know if
the
you can
onus
see
is
this
on the
video.
player delivering the shall be
Guys,
assessed to
so
any player who
coming in.
delivers a body check to an opponent who is
They're
physically
actually fighting
engaged
a
for
sport
possession of the
this
puck
third guy
with
called
one
Checks.
or more other players. In all cases, The onus is on the player delivering the check to avoid placing a vulnerable or defenseless opponent in danger of potential injuries.
So as most of you know, and I've said this before during games, sometimes, when the player checks another player and the player turns around and the coach tells me that, their player turned. Well, it's not, the onus is not on the player that's trying to get the puck near the boards. The onus is on the player delivering the check to make sure that it's a clean hit. Okay, so just because the player turns or whatever, does something funny, the person delivering the check, it's the responsibility falls on them.
Let's move on to general concepts. All major penalties will now carry an automatic game misconduct penalty. Any reference to injury as it relates to penalty assessment has been replaced with reckless endangerment, defined as engaging in conduct with regard to the consequences which create a substantial risk of serious physical injury to an opponent.
Yeah, it's
All
bad.
major and match penalties to be judged on severity of.
Yeah, so this is a big one. So now all major penalties, like it says, come with the game. So when I'm assessing a 5-minute major, it can no longer be a standalone 5-5. It comes with the game. It's not something that the referee is tacking on. It's kind of like the checking from behind, the boarding, stuff like that. And it comes with the automatic 10, those 2s and 10s. Now it's 5 in game. And we no longer look at whether the player is injured. I think that's going to be a relief for a lot of us. We don't really care about the injury as far as like the penalty goes. We care more now about the reckless endangerment. So if we see a boarding penalty or say a slew foot, that's reckless, right? It doesn't belong in hockey. It's not a hockey play. It's going to be a 5-minute game.
One quick question
Yes.
about that, because when I was watching YouTube, they talked a little bit about it, and for the younger ages, depending on how much time on the clock, so it's any major penalty, or is it major penalty at the higher level?
All major penalty. Oh, what is this? All major. The question was talking about at the lower levels, are there still standalone 5s?
So it's depending on the time of the game, right?
Right.
3-minute, 4-minute, 5-minute.
Right. Right. So yeah, it's going to come with the automatic game. I think the question is on the reduced penalty times. I think that's CBHL, CCHL are still deciding those reduced penalty times. Whether it's a 4-minute, 3-minute, or whatever, it's still going to come with the game misconduct. Doesn't necessarily have to be 5. Game misconduct.
Or defenseless.
They're done.
The last skater or goalkeeper to have touched the puck in an effort to establish control, defined major and match. The second level of involvement with the puck is possession of the puck. This is placing your stick on the puck in an effort to establish control or to deliberately direct the puck with any part of the body. The last player to have intentionally played the puck is considered to have possession of the puck.
Contact with
The
the
player
puck.
may be in possession of the puck without establishing control of the puck. However, a player must first gain possession of the puck prior to be considered in control of the puck. The third level of involvement with the puck is control of the puck. This is defined as the skater or goalkeeper that, in the opinion of the official, has possession of the puck and is guiding the puck in any desired direction. Contact with the puck is not considered control of the puck. A player in possession of the puck may also immediately establish control of the puck.
I think that this is huge also.
Okay.
Can you please mute yourself, whoever's. Right, so sometimes I have my arm up for a delayed penalty and everybody's shouting, oh, they touched the puck, they touched the puck. Right, that's
If we.
and then I can blow my whistle. It's a big difference. So here, I think it's
Hang on. We'll
different
figure out how
levels.
to.
How do I mute all? So
I'm sorry, Braden.
It's a key that you have to turn off the hall lights to force them on.
whoever is talking, can you please mute yourself? Thank you. So a skater considered to be in control of the puck is eligible to be body checked and or engage in competitive contact. This goes back to my original point about the intent to play the puck. You've got to be, you can couple that check on a person that has, on a player that has the puck.
I have a quick question on that.
Yes.
So you you got two players that are racing, or one skating down the ice with the puck, and he pushes it forward, 5-10 feet in front of him. And player from the other team, can he make body contact and check him off to the side in order to go get to the puck?
Yes. So as long as they're both in pursuit of the puck and he checks him in pursuit of that puck, did that answer the question?
Yes.
Everybody clear on? Okay.
So one more question. There was a lot of word salad there trying to differentiate possession of the puck and control of the puck. Could you just summarize that?
Yeah, possession is when you have the puck, and control is when you're controlling the puck.
Possession is either, it also looked like possession was you previously had the puck. You were the last one to have control of the puck.
Right. You're actually owning that puck, which is different from just contact with the puck.
Right. Okay. So that's
And then you're
why like
maintaining
David's
control.
question means the guy pushed it forward. He's not in control of the puck, but he has possession of the puck because he was the last one with possession of the puck.
Right.
Okay. All right. I got it.
He's
Thank you.
still going out. He's still pursuing the puck.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
What if the other person keys his race puck? Would
Yes.
that be interference?
Yes. So if another player comes in there in the mix and tries to interfere or block his path or railroad, what have you, the other player from pursuing the puck, it's an interference. Okay. Good questions. Okay.
A skater is considered to be in control of the puck, is eligible to be body checked and or engage in competitive contact. Another major rule change is that we have reduced the penalties per player in the same game to 4 penalties per player for the game misconduct to be assessed. Also, the team 15 penalties has been reduced to 12 for that coach to receive a 1-game suspension. And finally, there has been incorporated a standardized discipline policy for match penalties that establishes guidelines for suspensions and for a player or coach to accept a suspension without a hearing.
Okay, so everybody understand the 5-4 rule? Okay, so if they get a 2 and a 10 and a 2 and a, if they have a body checking penalty, and then a boarding penalty, checking from behind, how many penalties do they have? Body checking is 2 minutes. Yeah, boarding 2 and a 10, and then checking from behind is 2 and a 10, so they have 5. Okay. Yeah, so even without the initial body checking, he's gone. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not, yeah. So the point is, the player. So even if, so what I'm trying to get at is there are 2 penalties, but you have the additional misconducts that makes it 2. 2 infractions. Thank you, yeah. So checking from behind, you have a 2-minute minor, and then you have a 10-minute misconduct. That's considered 2.
And every one of these game misconducts is that game.
Yes. And whatever.
The 15
The 15 is the total for the coach. So you need to keep control of your team. I need to keep control of my mice. So if I get 12 penalties, I'm done. I get a suspension. I'm done for the game. I've got to leave the game. It used to be 15.
Was that game in?
I'm not. Yeah. One game. I think they're just done for that game. Don't quote me. Because then the CDHL or CCHL might have additional. That's why I never answered questions on discipline, because you as the clubs, you as the league, you as the affiliate could tack on whatever.
What if it's like, what if they're like little like holding?
Yep, overtime. Yep.
To be considered in misconduct to be assessed. Also, the team 15 penalties has been reduced to 12 for that coach standardized discipline policy for match penalties that establishes guidelines for suspensions and for a player or coach to accept a suspension without a hearing. The exception that had allowed shorthanded teams to ice the puck at the 15 only, 16 and under, and 18 under age classifications has been eliminated. The new rule calls for icing to be called in every instance except at high school, junior, and the adult classification. Also, immediate offside will be called at all levels of youth hockey. The only levels using delayed or tag up offsides are high school, junior.
Oh, why does it always do that? So yeah, for major, this was a major change for us as officials, a major change for you guys as coaches. We're gonna have immediate offsides at all levels, right? It's just, it is what it is, even if you're doing, 18U, even if it's 18U tier 1, you're still doing immediate offsides. This is to increase the number of puck touches, just to increase, play around the puck. Don't ask me why. Same thing with shorthanded icing. There's no more shorthanded icing allowed. Always going to be icing. Obviously, if there's a deflection, the player could have played the puck. There are still going to be washouts. Because it's shorthand, it doesn't dump it down the ice anymore. So if a referee, at the 12, at the certain levels, you always have that. 14, yeah. All levels of youth hockey, except for high school, can never ice the puck when they're shorthanded, and it's always immediate offsides. So if you have an official, if you just happen to have an official out there who hasn't not with the program here, you see him or her saying off, you can politely bring him aside and be like, there's no delayed offsides. Or if they're waving, if they're washing their icing when it's shorthanded, politely just remind them, there's no icings.
Last year we played a tournament, first two offsides, they're right outside the zone. The rest of the game are no offside, but no offside. Or not. Is that like standard or was that just? No, it was just like that. It was just like that. The ref has the decision on that. If they want to call it intentional offside. Now, they did say in the thing that I said that if they deem that offside has happened.
Player or coach to accept.
Yeah, so the question from one of the coaches here was, during a specific tournament, I guess one of the refs was allowed some of the shorthanded icings, and all of a sudden he started calling it. Offside. Yeah. So we think it's a crazy ref that was just being lazy. Any questions from the Zoom?
Yeah, quick question. Can you touch on intentional offsides and how it's going to relate to this offsides rule?
Yes, that's a great question. It's something that we also reviewed in some of the officiating seminars. So intentional offsides. Intentional offsides does not just happen when a player dumps the puck and there happens to be players in the zone. This is a big mistake, I will say, even with the refs. A lot of them get it wrong. That doesn't mean we start screaming at the refs, but certainly it's a teaching point, maybe at the end of the game or at the end of a period. So intentional offsides, I would say it doesn't even happen at 8U, 10U level because clearly they're still clueless. A lot of them are still clueless, right? Maybe you have some good 10U travel players that are aware. They have to knowingly dump the puck in, like look up, oh, there's still guys. Oh, I want to get a stoppage. I'm just going to dump it anyway because I just don't want to skate it around. Okay, and that's why I say it really won't happen at the lower levels, like the more newer players or whatever. So it has to be a player looking, oh, my guy's still in the zone. Oh, I don't care. I'm tired. I'm just going to dump it. That kind of thing. That's intentional. Same thing with shooting it on the goalie. A shot on goal when the players are still in the zone is intentional offsides. However, if the players were just about to clear, I'm not sending it all the way down the ice. Now that's me being a seminar instructor, knowing the rule very well. But so, like I said, it's teaching points for all of us out there on the ice. That's a great question. Any questions from here? Okay, are the questions from the Zoom?
Is the post on goal? Hitting the post on goal?
Yes.
It is. Thank you.
Post, it stays inside the zone.
Yep. Thank you.
Yep.
18 underage classifications has been eliminated. The new rule calls also immediate offside classifications. 5. More clearly defines and separates rules pertaining to substitution of players and substitution of goalkeepers. Section 3. Equipment. Rule 301 extends maximum length of stick shaft to 65 inches. Rule 304 removes exception for adults, now calls for immediate stoppage when a helmet is removed. And Rule 304 recommends all players wear a neck laceration protector. Section 4. Penalties. Rule 402, 403, 404, and 405 recommends that penalty length be adjusted based on length of periods played. Rules 403 and 405 removes requirement for adults to place a substitute player on the penalty bench for major or match penalties. They can now place additional player on ice from player's bench when penalty expires. Rule 411 adds progressive suspension for players or coaches who receive their second game misconduct under Rule 601 in the same season. Section 5. Officials. Rule 501 allows for 4 official system to be used at the 14 and under age classification and above. Section 6. Playing rules. Rule 601. Updated subsections C, D, and E to identify more specific actions and more clearly define misconduct, game misconduct, and match penalties assessed under this rule. Also in Rule 601, incorporates President's directive on hateful, discriminatory language into match penalty category and removes reference to
Offensive language. Okay. Does everybody recall the memo that was put out to everybody about match penalties and for the racial, gender, ethnic slurs? Those are now match penalties. That is now incorporated into the rule book as a rule because it used to say game misconduct, so it changed for us and it's a match penalty. What's the difference between a game misconduct and a match penalty was the question. The difference between a game misconduct and a match penalty is the match penalty, that player is suspended until he has a hearing. He has basically the affiliate has 30 days to investigate and they'll be brought before a board and they have a hearing to plead their cause. Otherwise, they're pretty much done for, I mean, they could be done for their entire playing life. Depends on what the action was.
For one match penalty?
Yes. So match penalty could be like kicking a player in the face or stepping on their neck, taking baseball swing, those kind of things. They don't belong in hockey. They probably should play hockey or any sport, that kind of thing. But they're also having that same kind of penalty for discriminatory language slurs, obscene gestures.
So if someone says something.
Yes. No. So the question was, if someone says something, they get a match penalty. It has to be ethnic, gender, sexual, racial, that kind of thing.
Word game, so if they say you asshole, that's okay.
Yeah, asshole would be a game misconduct. Perhaps misconduct. Effing asshole would be game misconduct. You Asian asshole. That would be a match. I already filtered that. Sorry, Zoom people.
That's the way to alert the official that that's happening. We have like one team that they could be going back to the bench in tears, crying that they're cussing at us.
Yes. So, okay, the question from the room was, what's the best way to inform the official if the coaches are hearing it from the bench when their players are, I guess, reporting to you on the bench? In tears. Yes, so the rule is that the officials or the off-ice official, which would be the scorekeeper, has to hear it themselves. If I do not hear the remark, or the scorekeeper does not hear the remark, I can't do anything. My hands are tied. I have to hear it myself. Now, I will go to the other coach. I will come to you first, absolutely. And I'm gonna go to the other coach, hey, they reported hearing this to your player. Let's just watch, that kind of thing. Yeah. Even if the scorekeeper hears it from those guys jawing at each other in the penalty boxes, I still can't assess the match penalty. I have to hear it, or my partner has to.
The official has to hear it or say.
Yes.
Or call the penalty.
Yes.
And there's no second chance, right? The kid just is needed, says something.
Right.
That's it. No
Nope.
second chance.
You're done.
Now,
Yes.
not no excuses.
I'm sorry. The question from the crowd was, does the kid have a second chance about what he says? No.
What if it's like my son's age? What if he's playing one of his buddies with another team? Lately, but he might.
Yeah. So the question,
How does that work?
the question was, what if a player knows a player from another team and they're just jawing at each other, making whatever, I guess, racial remarks, or whatever remarks, just joking at each other? Yeah, that's a great question. That's up to the referee's discretion. Obviously, if I can see that they're playing around. Same thing with if they hit each other, elbow each other, or just pull each other's mask. You know, like, guys, cut it out. You know, it doesn't look very good. Or, hey, let's watch the language here. But again, it's referee's discretion. Yeah. It's a good.
We had a lot of squad scrimmages last year. What about that one?
I don't care about adult league. Okay, moving on. They're just recommend. The question was, were neck protectors required? No, they're recommended. Okay, are there any questions from the Zoom? Can you all hear our discussion? Did I lose everybody in the Zoom?
No, we can hear you fine.
All right, we're almost done here. I've got like 2 more minutes of this video.
To offensive language. More on Rule 601 adds vaping to prohibited actions and changes infraction to a game misconduct for violation of this rule. In Rule 610, adds note that clarifies a goalkeeper may only freeze the puck while in the act of playing goal. Also added glossary definition. Rule 612B calls for a defending zone faceoff of the penalized team when a penalty is assessed that places time on the penalty clock. Exceptions to this face-off location would be any action by the non-offending team that actually caused the stop.
Okay, so this is the big one that you should write down as well. Penalties are going to go all the way down. Okay, so if usually what happens was when there's a penalty, we take it outside the zone, face-offs in the neutral zone. Now it's going to go all the way down. Unless, like it's saying, there's an exception to this face-off location if any action, blah, 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 blah. So for example, if there was an icing, right, from the non-offending team, then it would be taken outside the zone because you can't just reward that team because that team just iced it. So we wouldn't take it all the way down. We would take it outside of the zone again. Questions on that? Pretty simple. Penalties go all the way down, kind of like college. Any questions from the Zoom? No. Okay.
Of play. Rule 612 calls for attack zone face-off anytime attacking team takes shot on goal and the puck goes out of play off of the post, glass, or the boards. Rule 621 eliminates the slap shot prohibition at the 10 and under age classification and below. Rule 600.
Okay. So take notes, all you might and sport coaches. Your players can now take slap shots. Yes, write it down. Yes, they can try to take slap shots. They still cannot high stick. So if I still see, if they're swinging their stick up and catching someone in the cage, then it's going to be a high stick penalty. But yeah, they can go take the slap shots. Follow through? Yeah, yes, yeah, for sure. The question was the follow through from the slap shot, and they get somebody. That's also high stick.
Yeah. So question on 612.
Yes.
So now, unless it goes out clean, it stays in the attack zone.
Yes, and I don't think that was actually already a rule change. I think they just changed the language. That was already in the rule book from last go around.
Okay.
Yeah, so if it hits off the post or whatever, it's gonna stay inside the zone.
Yep.
If they shoot it directly outside, we're gonna take it still outside.
Yep. Thanks.
And 38, provides guidance for management of shootouts when used at the local level. Rule 639 establishes the minimum penalty for slew footing as a major plus a game misconduct. Rule 640 adds note mandating officials strictly enforce contact after the whistle, especially in scrum situations. Also, it adds penalties to be assessed to any goalkeeper who body checks an opponent. Now we will move on to the junior edition rule change.
So we are done with this part of the presentation. Are there any questions? We'll go back to the Zoom. Okay, questions from the Zoom? No, pretty clear. A lot of rule changes that affect our game. Any questions from the Zoom? No. The second thing I wanted to share was basic need for officials. We, as an organization, SHOA, so I schedule Frederick and Hagerstown, everything from youth to adult. We are in dire need of officials. When I say dire, I mean, I used to put out a request for availability for officials, and I used to get up to 40 responses. Our SHOA is about 400 officials. Okay, I used to get out 40 responses, which is really good. And I could pick higher level officials, pair them up with younger or lower level officials. Now I pretty much put people who need their availability. Last go around for September, I had 10 replies. 10, that's 10 guys and girls. The rest I had to make phone calls to people begging. So we need officials. I don't have any youth officials coming up for the system. We had a seminar at Frederick this past Saturday. We had 12 people attend. Okay, we used to have 50 people in the room. I don't know where they are. The average age of SHOA is pushing 40. The older officials are just not coming back. I think after COVID, they just didn't come back. And we're just, so I bring this up because you may not care or you may not feel like it's your problem, but we're gonna start having game cancellations across the board. At the 10U level, we kind of got away with it last year because SHOA went ahead and they allowed 12U and under to go solo, which is technically not a sanctioned system, but it is bad. So I'm asking you to maybe get 1 or 2 players from each of your clubs to try and get them to ref. Have to be 14 in the state of Maryland to work. What do they get paid a game? Okay, so for Mike's, they get paid, well, let me tell you, I worked a midget game this weekend, it was $80. $80. The EJ game for midget, $93. $93 for a midget's EJ slot. For 14U, I'm also asking you coaches if you're interested, for 14U EJ, it was $73. There's a travel league, and they play in the EJ. So for a Mike game, even if you want to stand out there, say you're coaching 10U and there's an 8U game right after, that's like $40. That's a pair of gloves. It's substantial. We make a lot in this area compared to, I'm from Texas. I would work adult league, AA, okay, $37.50. Okay. That's for AA adult. Okay. And that's in Texas. So here you can make more reffing a Mike game, just standing there dropping pucks for these kids. That's way more than working at Chick-fil-A or Hobby Lobby. Okay. I am trying to pound this home because we are really going to start having game cancellations, or you're really going to start having just literally warm bodies. Because I literally only had 10 people respond to my last call for availability.
See, I don't want to make it victory hockey centric at all, but speaking from our program, any abuse of officials from a coach or a parent, zero tolerance. We cannot be chasing officials on this team, particularly the young ones all the history of the game. Don't do it. We need these officials.
Okay, so John Wheatman, Frederick Victory brought up a really good point about zero tolerance that I didn't emphasize, but zero tolerance is zero tolerance. You know, we're not going to take abusive officials. Some of these young officials coming up, you know, they're your kids. They're my kid. They're not gonna. They don't need to be screamed at by us or by abusive parents.
So Z, how come, why is there such reluctance on the part of officials to actually make that call?
It's scary. It is scary. And I teach seminars, right? I worked a game last season. I gave the back row of dads 3 chances to shut up. And I was like, wow, I'm such a hypocrite because I've taught this zero tolerance thing in seminars myself. Because one, it was COVID. I didn't want them to have to, because if they go out into the lobby, they're gonna have to wear their masks. And it was raining that day, so I didn't want to send them out into the rain because they drove this team. I don't even know where they were from. They were from, I don't know, Philly, something like that.
You're too nice. You're too nice. Who cares if it's raining? Who cares if it's raining? Send their asses out of the rink.
They were screaming about everything, like bad icing or bad offside, and I'm like, wow, I need to toss them. So we've been reffing for 14 years. It's not that I'm scared. It's just like, I just don't want to do it. It's like, so finally I did toss him after 3 times, but it's just, it's intimidating. Imagine for these kids who are way younger than us to toss a parent.
Yeah, I mean, we had a tournament situation. We were out of state, so DVHL, has a slightly different take. But basically, their local officiating affiliate association, had this stop the game requirement, and the official, would stop the game for our opponent, a parent who wouldn't identify himself. The coach wouldn't identify that parent, and that parent wouldn't leave, and they just stopped the game until that person was gone. And
yeah, so that's technically incorrect. You're supposed to run the clock.
Okay, all right. Well,
yeah,
I'm just telling you what they did, and then what you had was a bunch of parents and a bunch of players kind of upset at the one idiot. Okay. And I think after a while, that's kind of a self-correcting problem, but I was just curious because I see this major reluctance on the part of officials to actually make that call.
Yeah, the running the clock works every time.
Yeah, that's why I would tend to try reffing, and maybe you'll see. Like, no, respectfully, like it's very different from one side of the bench to the other side of the bench. Yeah.
Well, when you schedule, you do pair up an adult with a youth, right? You wouldn't have 2 youths out there refereeing the same game, would you?
It depends on how experienced the youth is, and it depends what level of game. So if it's a 10U rec game and I have an experienced official out there, like 16, 17-year-old, then I don't have a problem doing it. But also, if I would rather not cancel the game. But yeah, certainly if they're 2 brand new officials, I'm not going to do that. I would rather tell the club, look, I don't have qualified officials. I'm going to have to cancel this game.
Okay, great.
It's because it's a player safety issue. At that point, it's not about the refs, it's player safety.
Will SHOA work with some of these younger players who play, who also play club? If they have, 3 games that weekend, will they work around their schedule and help them, manage that a little bit too?
If a player was interested in reffing, certainly. And so for SHOA, we scheduled by rink. So they would work at their rink schedule. Hey, I'm playing such and such game. Can I maybe work the one after it? So it's more of a relationship with the scheduler.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Yeah.
And can they can ref as long as it's a level below what they are? Is that right?
Yes. So yes, So yes, the players need to be reffing, not their same level, obviously, and yeah, preferably a level that's lower than what they're playing. The other question was. Yes. So the question from the one of the coaches here was Is there a cutoff for certification? No, they can register right now. The cutoff is actually in May, but usually most of the seminars are done in December. So I would say sign up for a seminar for level ones. It's a lot to get done. I'd say email me. You have an open book exam. It's open book. You have online modules like the video that you saw.
I was asking for.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, get it done. And the seminar is virtual. Or no, level one is in person. So if I get enough interest from the guys and gals around here, Frederick, Hagerstown, I will put on a level one myself.
We really should
So,
talk to our teams.
yes.
For a random team that had half a dozen, 7 kids that wanted to go to their level one, and just to support us. And I've been on this game a long time, and I'm not. But I a lot. Just getting my level one. Going and getting my level.
What's the cost of getting certified? I think it's $30, $40 for level one. Of course, you have to buy all the equipment. John was encouraging, I guess he said he can probably get 7 of his players, but also for the coaches, for you guys yourselves to attend. There's a lot to learn from even the level one seminar. Okay, so I think I harped on recruiting enough. Are there any, so me being the scheduler of Frederick and Hagerstown, I'm also for the MSHL girls coaches on here. I am also the women's coordinator. So I schedule the big tournaments such as Challenge Cup, such as the Ponytail, any other big girls showcases around here. That's my job to schedule. If you have any concerns with officials at Frederick and Hagerstown or any of the big girls showcases, please email me, call me. My email is zee.scheduler@gmail.com. I go by zee.scheduler@gmail.com. If you would like any in-house scrimmages scheduled, you can also send me an email. If you have any compliments, send me an email. Are there any questions or concerns about last season's officiating? I'm not talking about that missed offsides. Chad. Yes.
And not SHOA particularly, but I hope we keep an eye out on these game misconduct come down the pike and the mandatory calls. Sometimes we see officials less likely to make a decision because now they got to do the paperwork and probably reporting things. And I'm just hopeful that SHOA and all the officiating organizations countermanding that and say make the call.
Yes.
To the game because that's the opposite of what we want to happen. These calls not to be made because the official didn't have to do it.
Yes, question was, the concern was regarding officials not making the game misconduct calls because, or the 5-minute majors because there's more paperwork involved. We all have live barn. Frederick has live barn. Hagerstown has live barn. Most of the rinks have live barn. Send me the clip, c.scheduler@gmail.com. Send me the clip and we can go through it. I will go through it with the officials myself. I've chewed out my guys and I certainly can explain whatever to you, whatever to them. Everything's teaching, right? So, okay. Any more else? Any rules questions?
Yeah, I have one more question on the officials themselves. And it was my understanding in the past, especially with the younger kids, right? And I totally agree with you that probably someone 21 or younger is going to have a really hard time standing up in certain situations because it's so uncomfortable. It was my understanding you guys would try to kind of pair a veteran official with a younger official previously. It sounds like that might be close to impossible this year, or at least challenging at times. Is that what you foresee?
I am honestly struggling. Guys, I'm pretty much freaking out. Like I finished September. I still have 4 games that are empty that I need officials for. Rockville. Okay, Rockville, which is the center of the Metroplex, is having, you should see all the empty games. So now you're gonna have guys, maybe the older guys, working 7 games in a row or whatever. They're just done. They're gassed, right? I'm exaggerating with 7, but they're just working a ton of games. The guys that want to move on, they're working college, juniors, they're traveling up north because the games are faster and they pay even more up north. And we don't have the bottom officials, the new ones coming up. So you're not honestly stuck, but stuck with some of these older guys that've been around forever and they're working their asses off. So yeah, it's a problem. So yeah, I try my best. I really try. When I first started scheduling, which was four years ago, I loved it. I could really pair up these mentors. I could be picky. Now I can't be picky anymore. I pretty much have to put on whoever sends me their availability. Right here. So this is the marketing. Yes. And this is volunteer. I don't get paid for this. So none of you get it's hard. And I don't know, I should put like the race. You could make this much money. It's a lot of money. There was one year when I was single. Yeah.
Get it out there.
Yeah.
I mean, not you personally. I mean, it's like with organizations, USA. The problem is, you just go out to any little part of town and say, "Hey, kid, you need a job."
It has to be from the players.
Right.
So,
I mean, like, community.
So I'm killing some and stay backwards. All right, I think we're. Yes, it's a requirement to be able to skate to be a ref. Anything else?
No, good. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on tonight. You have my email, obviously. Yes, Chad.
I was waving by.
Oh, you're saying bye? Okay, bye.
Thanks, Z. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Stop recording. Okay, I'm recording.